and AP. So Texas legislators said no to Common Core. We are not allowing Common Core in Texas. Well, Common Core is not a set of standards. Common Core is a philosophy of education. And in Texas, our educators have bought it hook, line, and sinker. And if you look at districts, what is happening today, there are programs, there's project-based learning, and let me tell you, not everything in 21st century learning is bad. There's some really great lessons in C-Scope. There's some really great project-based learning lessons. But you can't do those lessons unless you've taught the foundation. And good veteran, traditional teachers know how to do that. In our Texas TEKS, our standards in the state of Texas, I'm not talking about the college and career ready standards. I'm talking about our English language and math. Those standards are the best in the nation. And we have a state board of education who fought hard for traditional foundational standards, and we have that in place. And we need, as parents, to understand that we have that to fight for. The college and career ready standards, that was a P16 commission that was put together. And if you go on to womenonthewall.org or Voices in Power, we have a Wednesday night conference call every Wednesday night. And this subject was talked about extensively. And you can go listen to the archive where Donna Garner is explaining this. But this P16 commission was put in place to write the college and career ready standards. Interesting, the grant money that was put in for that commission came from Microsoft. So, and the people that wrote the college and career ready standards in Texas were liberal college professors. So, it's very interesting because, let me connect another dot for you. We've got this crazy thing called C-Scope in the state of Texas. We've seen the tactics and the strategies of how they put that into place. Then Texas said no to the Common Core standards, but we've got some of the most liberal college and career ready standards in the nation. And I just found out last week, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago now, Donna Garner writes all this material, and I keep up with it, but it gets overwhelming for me to keep up with at times. And she kept saying, "Race to the top, race to the top," and I was going, okay, I can't handle that right now. There's too much other stuff. And then, come to find out, I get an article and find out that my little district, Argyle, Texas, we've applied for Race to the Top money. Argyle, Texas. I fought hard to get C-Scope unfunded in my district. We unfunded it. And then now I find out that our district is applying for federal grant money for Race to the Top. So I called my superintendent, who's a great lady, and let me just tell you, she's a really good woman. And I said, "What are you doing? You can't take this federal money." And she said, "I asked the consultant if we were signing on to Common Core, and she told me in the almost 400-page application for Race to the Top that it did not say Common Core. It did not say Common Core.
Is that amoeba?
But it still has standards that we're adhering to.
Standards that are common.
Standards that are common. That's what it is. That's what it was. And it was these college and career ready standards. What happened is there's a 14, in our situation, in Argyle, there are 14 school districts that pulled together a collaborative to hire a consultant to fill out the application for Race to the Top. I didn't know about it, and I'm involved. It's interesting because in order on that application to show community involvement, they had to get a letter from the mayor. Interesting, isn't that? A lot of times the mayors are, and I called our local mayor, who's a great lady. I helped get her elected. And I said, hey, did you write a letter for this grant? And she said, oh yeah, the superintendent called and said they were doing a grant, needed a letter, and I signed it. So, and this is happening in all of our districts. We had a 14 school collaborative that signed on to Race to the Top, or signed up to apply for this grant money, but there is education service centers who are applying for these grants as well. And so the whole education service center represents the districts that are involved in that service center. So they're going directly to the school districts. This is scary stuff when you look at how Common Core got into 46 states in our nation, and now, like we saw in New York last night, teachers are speaking up and saying this is child abuse. We have to be vigilant about understanding the strategies and the tactics of the red people. And not all superintendents, not all school district employees, not all teachers, they're not all red, they're not all bad people. Most of them are really good people. They just don't know the big picture. And so we have to go into our schools, and we have to get our children to go into their kids' schools and say, can I see? Can I see the curriculum that you're using in our schools? Can I see the professional development, the manuals? Meryl tuned me into this. You have to look at the manuals. How are the teachers being taught to teach? Are they teaching from a traditional, foundational philosophy of education, which is what our Texas TEKS are? Or are they teaching from a collectivist philosophy of education, which is the Common Core, 21st century learning, all of that? You have to look at how teachers are being taught. And let me give you some good news before I introduce our special guest. Last night, this just made my heart so happy. In Brazosport ISD, we have a closed Facebook group, and there are over 400 parents and taxpayers in Brazosport ISD that have been working closely and asking and communicating with the teachers in their local school district. Last night at their school board meeting, that room was completely filled, not with just irate parents. It was with parents saying, can I see what you're teaching my child? And the teachers showed up at the school board in silent protest against what they're being forced to teach.
Awesome. Yeah, good.
We're in a very interesting time. And I'll close with this, but I was in Milwaukee last week at a school choice conference. And I went and saw some amazing charter schools in Milwaukee. I had the opportunity to speak with a head football coach at Hope Christian School in Milwaukee, and this guy's a really good guy. And he's teaching those traditional foundational philosophies of education and character. And school choice is a wonderful thing when school choice is defined by moms and dads looking at what their opportunities are in their community. Because what school choice means to me in Argyle, Texas, is completely different than what school choice means in Harris County ISD or Harris County. And if we allow for our public school system to collapse by allowing flawed curriculum to come in, by allowing corruption at the education service center level and for a flawed curriculum management system to get in, and for people to be willing to sell this because they're tied to it financially. If we allow for that corruption to stand, we will collapse our public school systems. And the beauty of our public school system is that it is run by an elected board. And if we have all charter schools, all charter public schools, and private schools, choice becomes no choice because they're beholden to whoever's giving the grant money, not the elected local school board. And in my little town of Argyle, Texas, our local public school is applying for Race to the Top money so that Common Core standards are coming in. But our local Christian private school, my son was struggling with algebra and brought home his school book, Common Core. So it's in public school, private school, charter school, and Merrill can attest it's in the homeschool curriculum as well. This is a federal takeover of our education system, and so choice becomes no choice unless we hold on to that local public school board that can make a stink and empower teachers. And one of the things that we are really looking for are not just elected leaders in Austin who can put forth legislation like our, in the education code, our Parents' Bill of Rights, which gives us the right to go in and ask questions. We need to have legislators that understand that they can't fix this in Austin through behind closed door deals, which I think is what we saw with C-Scope. We saw lessons were pulled out. Oh, but it's still there because the whole management system was there. We need for leaders to come in and say, I can't fix all of this in Austin. I need you as moms and dads and grandparents and taxpayers to go into your local schools, whether they're public, private, charter, or even look and be aware in your homeschool to say, can I see? Can I see what you're teaching our children? Because if we don't stand up for our children now, those red people, they're infiltrating. And they're coming in under the illusion, kind of like Mr. Kid President. It sounds good, it feels good, and it looks good, but it's really harming us. So, I have had the opportunity to go to Austin, talk to different people,